When scientists try to look deeper into the fundamental nature of reality, they eventually reach a point where our current theories are no longer able to give reliable answers. The earliest moment that modern physics can describe with some confidence is around the Planck era, an extremely brief period after the beginning of the universe. The Planck time is the time it would take light to travel one Planck length, the smallest meaningful length scale in physics. At times earlier than the Planck time, things become uncertain because gravity was incredibly strong and quantum effects were incredibly strong. Before Point, the conditions were so extreme that our two best theories, quantum mechanics, which describes very small things, and general relativity, which describes gravity and the large-scale universe, cannot be successfully combined into a single framework. As a result, while the standard model of particle physics and cosmological theories can explain a great deal about how the universe evolved after the Planck era, they cannot yet tell us with certainty what happened before it, whether there was a before at all, or what the deepest underlying reality might have been. These questions remain among the greatest unsolved problems in modern physics. My hypothesis is that there must have been an original beginning to everything that exists, both within our universe and beyond it, if anything exists at all. Imagine that at the very start there may have been no space, no time, no matter, no energy, and no physical laws as we know them, but primordial state where everything is one which is set to emerge any time into becoming the Big Bang. For instance, at unified physical state, some theories suggest that at extremely high energies, all forces of nature were unified into a single interaction. Going further back, some physicists speculate there may have been a state where even space-time itself was not yet distinct. Rather than absolute nothingness, this state would be governed by quantum laws and contain the potential for universes to form. Since our current scientific models cannot fully explain what happened before the Big Bang, some people conclude that there may be a supernatural cause, a creator, or God behind the origin of the universe. From this perspective, the existence of the universe may point to something beyond the laws of physics that we currently understand. However, this raises further questions. If a creator exists, what is the nature of that creator? Is God made of matter, energy, or something more fundamental than anything found in our universe? Could such a being exist outside space and time, or belong to a deeper level of reality that human minds and scientific theories cannot fully comprehend? These questions have been explored by philosophers, theologians, and scientists for centuries, but no universally accepted answers exist. As a result, the mystery of the universe's origin often leads not only to questions about how reality began, but also to deeper questions about the ultimate source and nature of existence itself. If God created the universe, then it is reasonable to imagine that God's creative power would extend far beyond the creation of human beings. Human life, with all its complexity, would be only one small part of a much larger creation. It would not be surprising to think that God first created the most fundamental building blocks of reality, such as the elementary particles and the laws that govern them. Going even deeper, God may have been responsible for whatever existed before the Planck era, a stage that current science cannot yet describe. From these deepest foundations, the universe could have developed, leading to the formation of stars, galaxies, planets, and eventually living beings such as ourselves. In this view, human beings are not a separate creation from the rest of the universe, but are the result of a long process that began with the most fundamental levels of reality established at the very beginning of existence. One of the remaining questions is what happened to God after the creation of the universe. Did God exist only at the very beginning, before the Planck era, and then disappear once the universe came into existence? Another possibility is that God did not disappear, but instead became present throughout creation itself. In this view, God may have been the source of the deepest reality before the universe began, and then manifested through the fundamental particles, forces, and laws that make up the cosmos. As these basic elements formed stars, galaxies, planets, and living beings, God's presence became expressed through everything that exists. Rather than being confined to a distant past, God could be understood as existing everywhere and in everything, including ourselves. According to this perspective, the universe is not separate from its divine origin, but is a continuing expression of it, with God's presence woven into the very fabric of reality.